Bom dia! Welcome back. Well, Carnival is over, and I have to say, my Carnival was a bit of a disaster this year. So, what happened? Well, we arrived in Salvador Friday morning, full of enthusiasm, and I went out late Friday afternoon, by myself, with the idea of just getting my first taste of this year's carnival, um, and to get some footage for this episode. So I went out, full of energy, full of vontade, and at one point, I was holding my cell phone up so I could get a shot of the big crowd, so you could get an idea of how massive the numbers are of people at Carnaval. And someone grabbed the phone out of my hand and stole it. Oh my God. I'm using someone else's cell phone to film this. I'm not sure to where to look. Seems like I'm not looking directly at you. Anyway, they grabbed my cell phone. Several people inside the bloco, the Carnival group, inside the courts, saw it, and they grabbed him and tried to shake him down, but, he denied it, and they had to let him go. I was furious, because, I only had one cell phone with me. That was my only cell phone. I have another one, the one I'm using, here in my town of San Antonio, but I wasn't going to be back in San Antonio for 5 more days. I'm back now. So I was without a cell phone, unable to shoot any video for you for this channel during Carnaval, which I was really looking forward to sharing that with you. And also, though, my cell phone itself was a rather old cell phone. I don't really care about losing that cell phone, but it's, nowadays, your whole life is inside your cell phone, unfortunately. That's the way we live today. Your bank accounts, all of your contacts, all of your friends, all of your Google accounts like Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Your whole life is in there. And I also did not have any of my passwords. I just keep them all open. So I haven't, used the passwords in years. I've got the password written down back at San Antonio, but that's 4 hours away from where I was in Salvador. So I was not able to log on to any of my accounts. And my biggest fear was that somebody was going to get hold of my bank accounts. Which is all my banking is online. So I called my bank and blocked my bank accounts, my bank cards. I was screwed, and it definitely put a damper right there at the beginning of Carnival for that to happen, and it kind of weighed on me. Well, then the next day, was Saturday, so I decided to go out of course, without a cell phone, unable to shoot any video, but I said, hell, I'm just going to have a good time anyway, the old-fashioned way, but not recording it. So I there are 3 Carnival circuitos, which basically means routes in different parts of the city. So I went to the Carnival circuito in the old colonial center of Pelourinho, which is the most traditional and I think the most interesting circuito of them all, with very imaginative costumes, etc. And I enjoyed that, and then I went to have a late lunch. I was by myself, and I had a nice lunch, but I made a big mistake. Second mistake was having a caipirinha, which is the national beverage here in Brazil, alcohol, of course. And, I cannot drink alcohol. I have 1 or 2 drinks in a year, usually to celebrate something, but I should not have had that caipirinha because it does not mix with the medications I take. Well, shortly after walking out of the restaurant, I had an attack of projectile vomiting and vomited all over myself. Yep, I was covered in vomit and smelling like vomit. And I was several miles away from home, and I had to walk home because, the streets are packed. The public transportation or taxis or anything else, Ubers, are not running. So I had to walk home covered in vomit. People were looking at me. I was mad, angry, embarrassed. Finally got home, was able to get out of that disgusting clothing. So that was day 2 of Carnaval. By day 3, I was just in a bad mood. And everything about Carnival that is negative was irritating me. The crowds, the deafening music, the dirt, the mud, the pushing, the shoving. Oh my God. I was so over Carnival at that point. I did go out, but didn't last very long. I was just in a plain bad mood. And so I left Carnival a day early. It ends on Tuesday. Tuesday's the last day, but I left Tuesday morning. Came back here to San Antonio. I'm in the San Antonio's little shopping mall right now. Air conditioning, yes. So I have kind of decided that this year is my last Carnival. Now, by this time next year, I'm going to be back living in Salvador. I'm not going to be able to totally avoid Carnival, nor do I want to. I will dip my feet in around the edges, but I'm not plunging into Carnival. I'm not going to be part of the Fies de Ganji or any other bloco. This year I spent way too much money at the last minute after deciding it was going to be a cost-free, low-key Carnival for me. I ended up spending a fortune and barely got to enjoy any of what I paid for. The main expense was the costume. And so next year, I'm just staying on the fringes. I'm 70 years old. I've experienced and enjoyed at least 20 carnivals in my life here in Brazil, here in Salvador. So it's not like I feel like I've missed out on something, not at all. I'm not speaking badly of Carnival. I think all of you should come to Brazil and experience Carnival in either Rio de Janeiro or in Salvador, once in your lifetime at least. It's a once in a lifetime, or it's a multiple time of your lifetime experience. There's nothing like it. But I've had enough. I'm not at the age anymore where I have the energy or the enthusiasm that I once did. And with what happened to me, this time I see it as a sign to say, it's time to retire from your Carnival. So I barely shot any video or photos, but I'll insert a few into this video just to give you a taste. So first stop this morning is to my bank to replace my debit card that I blocked and canceled. I just want to say that in no way did what happened the last few days at Carnival in Salvador change my feelings about living in Salvador or Bahia or in Brazil. That kind of happenstance can happen anywhere. I certainly had some bad experiences in my home country, the United States, and in Mexico, where I lived for 10 years, but I love Mexico. I'm not so in love with the United States, thanks to the Bush, well, he was bad too, but the Trump regime, he is wreaking havoc at the moment. But anyway, I just wanted to say, I love you, Brazil, and I have no intention of leaving. Viva Brazil! And I also want to say that in 25 years of traveling to and living in Brazil, this recent incident was only the second time I've had an experience with crime. The first one was in 2003. I was mugged, but I didn't lose anything. At the very moment I was handing over my wallet to the thieves, the police pulled up, arrested the thieves, gave me my wallet back, and all turned out well. So think about it, in 25 years, I was robbed once of a cell phone. And I certainly was robbed many more times than that, and mugged, and even assaulted in the United States. So don't let this one incident I've talked about at Carnaval scare you away. Come on down. So until next episode, beijos, ciao.